You're listening to the Evil Metal Gamers Podcast.
Welcome, guys, to another episode of Evil Metal Gamers Podcast. Today is October 7th, 2018, and this is episode number 51. My name is Jose Rodan. Yes.
Positive?
My name is Jose Rodan.
One more time. You sure?
Yes.
Who are you again?
I'm not repeating it. Say you.
Oh, I'm Frank Berna.
And you're listening to the Evil Metal Gamers Podcast, where you hear all your geek news
all week. Every week.
And it's been quite a busy weekend for me. Not for you, but for me.
Yeah.
So, and there's some news, some very interesting news this week.
First off, shout out to Scott Wilson. May he rest in peace. Died of leukemia. For those of you who don't know, he was The Walking Dead's Herschel Green, Maggie's dad. He was on a couple seasons and died eventually, but passed away today. Cancer, leukemia.
Damn.
76.
Condolences to his family. Talking about Walking Dead. So Skybound.
Yeah, buddy. I'm excited.
So wait a minute. Do I have to? Well, first of all, let's go to the news. Skybound, which is the publisher for Walking Dead comics, will finish the series for Clementine. They will actually give us the finale that we will not get in our game version because of the irresponsibility of Telltale Games and their shitty corporation.
Well, that's what you get when you have Zynga and EA backing you.
Well, I mean, they did the irresponsibility of that company is ridiculous. I mean, they did a lot of stupid shit. And to let it go to the end and then not telling anybody so they can prepare themselves is pretty shitty.
That's why they're getting sued like a motherfucker.
What are they going to give them, Frank? They have no money.
Doesn't matter.
If the company couldn't give them even a severance, it's because they have no money. So you could sue them and they're not going to get anything. It's like suing a homeless person under a bridge. What are you going to get from that person?
Well, when you're a multimillionaire, there is something that you can get from that person.
What multimillionaire? You mean the CEO?
Yeah.
I guess. But I mean, from what I understood, they use up all the assets. There's nothing left of Telltale Games. So, hopefully they win something.
See, why can't those people get cancer?
Ugh, I know. We're venturing off into the story. This is old news. Basically, Skybound and the creator of Walking Dead will give us the finale for the Walking Dead game, which is the actual story of Clementine. Now, what I want to know is, will I have to buy the first 2 episodes to get the finale, or will you just give me a book that gives it to me from the beginning? Because if so, then I'll give you my money on the book, because Kirkman, I believe it is, his stories are way better than Telltale's, so I'll go with his version anytime.
I mean, I don't know. I just know that they're doing it. I'm excited because I was worried that it was never going to get the end. I hate that concept of something never actually getting a proper ending. It irritates me.
You know what would be awesome?
Go ahead.
He does 3 versions of the story for 3 versions of what your Clementine was at the end of season 2. And it says it on the actual comic book cover. You understand?
I guess.
Yeah, because that way he could write 3 different stories. Your Clementine was a badass who didn't trust people. Was she a trusting person who forgave people? And I forgot what the other one was. That would be awesome. Or he could just do one, but at least you'll get the ending. And Clementine's such a good character, so.
Yeah, that's the thing about it.
I say, add her straight to the series of Walking Dead into the comic books. That would be great. That would be fucking fantastic. Because I haven't read the comic books in a while, but the comic books last time I checked was where the series of Walking Dead is today, which the season premiere was today, but it takes place like years after the fight with Negan, so hopefully he can integrate it into that. Hopefully. Yeah. And then they can make her a permanent character into the Walking Dead comic books, or you can kill her off. You know what? Whatever flips his switch, because he fucking, he has no problem killing people. Yeah, killing your favorite characters.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where death is inevitable in almost every facet of life. Literature is one of the few things where you can continue to live way beyond what you're supposed to live to.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But it's one of those things where if she lives, it's like, well, when will she die? So it kind of leaves that open end of the story. And if she dies, it's been this journey and this voyage of all these people sacrificing themselves to this little girl's death.
Which would absolutely fucking suck.
Yeah.
Kill AJ. Don't kill Clementine.
Yeah, no. Dude, I remember, like, when she died, the mother, I felt no remorse. I hated her so much.
Yeah, she was a pain in the ass. I mean, now I remember that episode where the baby's laying there and the zombie's like, she came back and almost ate the baby. That was intense. That was, I was like on the edge as you see the mother come back, going straight for the baby.
I kind of would have let the mother eat the baby. That's me.
They would have done it in the comic books.
It makes more sense.
No, they wouldn't do it in the game. There's just this media, the TV actually viewing an actual version of a baby getting killed, I guess, is too much for video games. I don't think it's really been done that I know of.
Game of Thrones, the Red Wedding.
Well, I mean in games.
Oh.
That I know of. I can't think, maybe there was something where they killed a kid. I mean, young. We're talking about like toddler down.
No, I've never seen anything toddler. The youngest one was Dragon Age 1. I killed like a 6-year-old kid.
Jesus Christ.
It's pretty gratifying. Hell yeah. Did you play Dragon Age 1?
The last Dragon Age is the only one I've ever played.
Okay, so Dragon Age 1, do you know how if you are born with magic, they send you to the Mages Guild and you're never seen again?
Yeah.
So there was this royal family. They weren't major royal, but they were a royal family. And the mother discovered that her child had magic potential, but she didn't send him to the Mages Guild. So she hired a blood priest, I think it's called. I'm not sure of the name in the game. To train him to like suppress his magic, but the kid became taken over by some evil demon, right?
Okay.
And I defeat the kid, and I had the hot witch, and she's like, okay, well, we got to kill the kid. And the mother's like, no, there's got to be some other way. And she goes, well, there is another way. We can enter the netherworld and find the demon and kill him. But it's a slim to nothing chance. And I'm sitting there, and I keep going against everything that everybody's saying. I want to kill this kid just like the witch does, because this kid's possessed by this evil demon, right?
Okay.
And then the last thing, it's like, kill the kid. And I'm like, there's no way it's going to happen.
Did they actually show it?
No, well, the mother's sitting there, and she like tries to get in your way, and you knock the mom out. And then you pull out a dagger, and then the screen goes black. And then ultimately you killed the kid.
What the fuck?
It was pretty awesome.
I mean, hey, those games like that are more realistic to me if you have a choice, especially in those medieval type of games.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
So more
I'm
power
not
to
risking
them.
anything like that, dude. Kid's dead.
More power to them.
Venom is making a bunch of money.
Of course.
It angers me.
Of course, it's gonna make fucking money. It's stupid.
Yeah.
You don't understand that stupid movies make money?
Yeah, it angers me.
I mean, better movies make better money, but stupid movies make money.
Yeah,
I don't even think this movie's gonna make movies internationally. I don't think it will make money. But that's an American thing. I'm telling you, this movie is not gonna make money internationally.
It could, dude.
No
Venom's
way.
a big thing.
Anybody who watches fucking Spider-Man knows that Venom is not Venom without Spider-Man. So I don't care how much they change the story around. You need to have a Spider-Man there or a reference. And Tom Hardy's great, and I love him and everything, but fuck it. I'm not gonna even bother. I'm not even gonna watch it on actual Blu-ray or anything. I'll wait for the Fox version.
205 million worldwide is what it's predicting.
I guarantee you next week it dies. Guarantee you. Next week it's gone. What's coming out next week?
I don't know.
I bet you something else will replace him real fast. Once word of mouth is always the key here. Anyway, so I watched Solo movie.
Solo was
I saw
awesome.
it yesterday. I didn't like it.
Really?
I did not like it. I thought that the performance of the actor who played Han Solo, Danny Glover, was great as
Donald.
oh my God.
But go ahead.
Lando. But I thought the story was meh. It was okay. It didn't keep me interested. The performance, once again, was great. But I didn't like it. I just didn't like it for a Star Wars movie. It didn't keep me interesting. I didn't think it was... I watched that movie and I didn't feel like it was a Star Wars movie. And it has nothing... There was one thing that I liked about it was the special guest.
That was awesome.
The cameo at the end.
That was great.
Which the cameo... I mean, if you watch Star Wars, the animated series, whatever the hell it's called, you know into what reference and what timeline it's happening. I don't want to give the cameo away. Because that character that cameos in the movie is in the Star Wars animated series.
Yes.
And he, I can't say much detail, but yes. So maybe there is more. Maybe we'll get a Solo part 2. I don't know, because they never got into the him making a deal with Jabba.
Well, that was supposed to be the next thing. But apparently, the Mandalorian film got its first screens. The Mandalorians, for those of you who don't know, that's Boba Fett's race.
Okay.
So Jon Favreau, the guy behind like the Iron Man movies and stuff, he's directing a Star Wars movie about the Mandalorians, and that got pictures shown.
He's what? The Boba Fett's?
Mm-hmm.
What are
That's
they?
the race. That's the race, yeah.
What do you mean the race? The race of Boba Fett was just a humanoid like everybody else.
No. Boba Fett. Well, technically Jango Fett.
Jango Fett was a clone of his father.
His father's Jango. The son is Boba.
Okay.
Jango's what you call a Mandalorian. It's basically like you're a Puerto Rican. That's what a Mandalorian is.
Yeah, but they were all the same. It's just humanoid, right?
No. Well, yeah, they're humans, but the race. It's like you're not going to call an African American a white person. They're African American.
That's dumb.
That's what the planet is.
I understand what I understand what you're saying, but in the Star Wars theme, it doesn't really matter of races between humanoids. It's humanoid. Were you humanoid or
no? Because if you're from
so there's a whole planet of African Americans, right?
Well, no, I
And
don't.
that's
I don't know.
how that's how they explain Lando.
No, I don't know. They're black. No, it's just that's where you're from. You're a Mandalorian. It's like if you're. I mean, if
I get it.
Yeah, you're like we are Earthlings. That's what we would be referred to as.
I guess. I mean, it's Jon Favreau. He does good movies.
Yeah.
Hey, The Jungle Book was fucking great, and he's directing Lion King. Is it right? He's doing Lion King.
Jungle Book's getting a sequel too.
Oh my god! Why is it getting a sequel?
Your guess is as good as mine.
This is so stupid. Bambi 2. Oh my god. Okay. Let's get going.
Mario Party got released on Friday.
I didn't get to play it. We wanted to get it, but my kid's punished, so we decided not to go with it.
I'm getting it for the missus on her birthday, along with her Switch.
Reviews.
Apparently, they said anything that was kind of broken in the last one is exactly what it is.
Did you see Game Informer? That they got a certificate from Nintendo. Have you seen this on Twitter?
No.
They gave bad reviews to Mario Party 9 and 10, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And Nintendo sent them a certificate of, like, it looks like a diploma saying thank you so much for your review, signed by the CEO of Nintendo and the creator of Mario Party. Like fuck you for giving us a bad review type of certificate. And it's like framed and everything.
That's pretty sweet.
To Game Informer. It's in Twitter. Check it out. It's fucking crazy.
I'd hang it up with great pride.
They did hang it up. I mean, if it's a bad game, it's a bad game. Don't, Jesus, Nintendo, don't take it to heart.
Yeah. Something else happened this week. I can't remember. Well, and I'm not being facetious. I'm quite literally saying that there was something else that I wanted to talk about.
PlayStation 5 stuff is happening a lot in the news.
Did we talk about that last week? About
I don't know.
CD Projekt Red?
No, we didn't.
So I think that might have came out literally after we did the last podcast. So CD Projekt Red, who's making the 21st Century Game of the Century, in Cyberpunk 2077, has recently worked out with WB Games to get the game published. And apparently they're pushing for a PlayStation 4, Xbox One release. Based off of what I've seen, I don't think that the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One is quite capable of what this game could be. That's my opinion, but I'm sticking to that. I don't think that the game should come out on a system
not to their vision. Not to their vision. I don't think it's capable.
And to be quite honest, even with if it gets released on those two and the PC, I don't even think it should be released on PC, because I think what the potential could be for another 3 years.
Well, why can't it be released for the PC? What do you mean?
I still don't think that it should be released.
Why?
It's going to be even better.
But why? They can already release it to their vision on PC. Why do they have to hold it back for console?
No, I'm saying that what it could be, to get what it should be on console, is even better than what it could be on PC today.
No, you're right. But
that's what I'm saying. That I'm thinking that we all around, all three, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, we're all kind of getting screwed a bit, if I can be frank. I mean, I think that what this game is supposed to be, if it's coming out, I don't know, man. I hear that it could be launched within a year. The scale of the game now worries me that it's not going to be as vast as I was expecting it.
Listen, after the game that I played this weekend, scale to me is just not like, I can't even fathom scale, because if it's possible, what I've played this weekend has showed me that it's possible. It is possible to extend games to make them gigantic, ginormous.
But it doesn't have to be. Like, I feel that Assassin's Creed is big for the sake of being big.
But what I'm saying is that they can, other than expanding, I'm talking about size of the map, they can also do as much stuff as they can in what is this? Cyberpunk. It doesn't matter. I feel like after seeing what I've seen, Cyberpunk, Red Dead, they can do even more than what I've seen or less. But I know now that games can be bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh my God.
But that's not, I don't need the game to be bigger and bigger and bigger. What I'm afraid is that the game's going to be scaled back and it's not going to be as monumental as what I was hoping for. Seeing that trailer and imagining how good it can be and how vast it could be, and then hearing that it's going to come out now my expectations are
I agree 100% with
back.
You. They should wait till 2020.
There's no way, in my personal opinion, that you're going to be able to get everything that I was kind of expecting in such a vast world. I feel like it's going to be very...
You probably could, Frank. Look at Red Dead, how much they're doing.
No, it's Red Dead's different though. Red Dead doesn't have to have the population size because we're talking about a lot of open plains. You're congesting everything into a city. That's where I'm like, it's going to be dialed back.
I think they can. I think they can. I don't want it because they can do more.
That's what
Obviously,
I'm saying.
If they take longer, they can do more. But it doesn't mean that that vision that they've had will not happen. Trust me, they're already working on the game. They probably have a lot done already. I'd rather it not come out next year. I'd rather it come out in 2020. Fuck, I'd rather it wait for PlayStation 5 and
That's
Xbox.
What I'm saying.
Whatever the fuck the NX Xbox is called.
Scarlet.
Absolutely. Whatever ridiculous name they have. Let it. I mean, it worked for Witcher. They waited for the next system and then they reaped the benefits.
Yeah.
Hopefully they won't come out with anything now. But I mean, who was the publisher? WB?
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't know.
I like WB games.
WB also had a lot of shit with Lord of the Rings, the Shadow of Mordor. I remember they had a lot of fucking problems with the boxes, the loot boxes, and all that. Yeah, the first one didn't have that many problems. You're right. I agree.
First one won Game of the Year.
So what's up with this? Talk about PlayStation 5. Have you noticed that more rumors are coming out and more and more and more? I mean, now I see that PlayStation 5 might have backwards compatibility, which is good. I think it's great. It's great for people like you, too.
Well, the thing is after what... In this day and age, I don't think innovation is the best thing. I look at Apple and they crowdsource, man. Crowdsourcing is the smartest thing you can do. And how crazy everybody went when Xbox said that they were going to have the backwards compatibility. And PlayStation was like, meh, it is what it is. There's wins and losses. The PlayStation said they had it. And that the PlayStation 4 was going to have the backwards compatibility. However, you wanted that $399 price point, something's got to give.
Well, wasn't the reason that Xbox 360 was able to do backwards compatibility was because it was an AMD chip?
And
then the Xbox
cell processor.
Exactly. And the Xbox One was also AMD.
Right.
So then you can put the disc in, it's not going to be a problem. Unlike the PlayStation 3, it was a cell, what is it?
The cell processor. Yeah.
Yeah, the cell processor, and then you jump into AMD, which the PlayStation 4 is AMD. So no matter how much you want it, no matter how much you desire it, there's no way you can play PlayStation 3 disc and a PlayStation 4 when it's a totally different
format. Yeah,
it's a totally different format. No matter how much you beg for it, it can't happen. But it doesn't justify that if you download it digitally on the PlayStation 3, that you can't play it on the PlayStation 4.
Right.
There's no excuse on that.
I feel like they were just trying to avoid backlash, for lack of a better term, where if I did buy it digitally, but I have my friend bought it digitally, but I own the game, why can't I get it, blah, 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 blah. I felt a lot of people might try to abuse it with the GameStop.
Which in that situation, Frank, I understand, but in that situation, they could have done what Xbox does, where all you have to do is put the disc in.
Right, but all I got to do...
it.
All I have to do, though, is if I put the disc in, read it, I can take it back to GameStop that day. I understand.
Well, there has to be a key. There has to be something. There's no way it can be that easy.
No, it can't be.
I want to believe that it's that easy, but it can't be. That you go to to GameStop, you buy yourself a game, you go to Xbox One, you put it on, and now it's yours forever. I'm sure there's something. It can't be that easy. I'm sure there's a trick to it. I'm sure there's like a achievements or something, or they read when you had the game or something. There has to be a rule to it. It can't be that easy, bro.
Why not?
Because then people would fucking manipulate that and they'd be robbing shit.
Once again, why not? I'm a corrupt person. Like I see that.
But exactly,
but
that's not what Xbox won. That's not what Microsoft wants. So I'm sure they will put a rule. Like Voodoo, for example, Voodoo lets you scan your movies, and then for $1 or $2, you can put them digitally into your Voodoo account. So what stops me from going with my Voodoo account, right, on my phone to Walmart and just scan away? Well, here's the thing. They take your zip code and your GPS on your phone, and they make sure that you only get to do this one time. And then you can maybe change it in another year where you have to put in your address in there, your home address.
But once again, what's stopping you from going to a place that sells used DVDs or something?
And you scan away.
Right.
Which is fine. Yes. And you're absolutely right. But that would mean that you would have to drive there every time you want to get a movie. And yes,
but if I buy in bulk, I mean, it's one of those. Well, like I said, I have no quarrel with it. I'm a shitty person, and if I can get away with something like that, I'm going to get away with something like that.
I'm sure that there's something in the system that tells you the addresses of these places. I don't know. I might be wrong. Maybe it has addresses.
But once again,
maybe Voodoo can track down business addresses.
If I buy a bunch of shit, scan them at home, and I know that they're looking for me to scan at home, I scan them, take them back. I'm fucking done.
And you got the movies for $2 each.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess, but at least you're still paying. Xbox gives it to you for free. There's got to be
There has to be something.
There has to be something. There's no way that they would just give away free games. But I mean, I might be wrong. Maybe you can register it and they tell you after a year we can put it digitally. But that would be cool. Where were we? How did we get to this? I lost track.
Talking about CD Projekt. Talking about CD Projekt Red and all that stuff. PlayStation.
Oh, we're talking about that PlayStation
Next gen,
5.
all that stuff. Yeah.
The PlayStation 5. they were talking about the PlayStation experience canceled this year because the rumors were that they're trying to. They said quotation that they have nothing to show,
but they
to
don't
make it
and that's
enough
fine.
to make a PlayStation experience, which is fine.
Which
but a lot of people are
perfectly.
looking into it, thinking that it's because they're saving the good shit for PlayStation 5.
No, but what are they saving for PlayStation 5? Like, listen, to be quite honest, after what they showed at E3, what do you expect them to show?
And I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of those games won't come out for PlayStation 4. I don't care what they say. They can tell you a bunch of shit, and at the last minute they say, "No, we're going to delay it."
No,
and then it comes out for PlayStation 5.
I think the two big ones that are going to come out for PlayStation 4 still are Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2. I still think both of those will come out.
I hope so, but I doubt Last of Us is going to come out for PlayStation 4.
I think they're both going to come out on PlayStation 4.
For what that looks like.
Good.
But you might be right. It'll be like Last of Us for PlayStation 3, and then they'll have the better quality for PlayStation 5.
And which is absolutely fine. I'd like, dude,
that's fine.
I have no problem buying.
The game ran fine on PlayStation 3. It looked better on 4, but it ran perfect on 3.
Yeah.
I had no problems, no hiccups.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
I mean, it could be the PlayStation 5 might come out next year. There's there's no, how do I say it? You can't say it's not going to happen because they introduced the PlayStation 4 on February and then it came out on the fall.
Yeah, I think they're going to announce. We go back. I still think they're going to announce it this year at E3. They're going to show it the following year, and then they're going to release it that fall. And I'll be there day one.
So you're saying they're going to announce it on E3, or they're going to announce it this year and then show it on E3?
No, I don't think they're going to show it. I personally don't think they're going to show it this year.
I
think to a certain degree there are, and you know, I could be wrong. I'm not a programmer. I think there are too many games that are invested in the current gen systems right now, and I don't think people are getting ready to jump on board with the next gen unless it's games like Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfield that are so far away from being developed that they're going to the next cycle already, if that makes any sense.
It makes sense. But if they were to say that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out next year in fall for PlayStation 5, or whatever, let's not say next year, 2020 February or January, people will buy the PlayStation 5.
People buy the PlayStation 5 regardless. I don't think the companies are in a rush to try to get their games out for the next gen system.
And if it comes out with backwards compatibility, then what's the problem?
No, I agree. I'm agreeing with you, but I don't see companies rushing to get things done anymore. And the companies that do rush to get things out typically make bad games. I go back to Shadow of War. That game, everybody was looking forward to it, and you could tell that it was a rushed product. Look at Mass Effect Andromeda. It was a rushed product. What other game that came out recently that everyone was like, yeah, this was rushed?
But a lot of companies might also hold back on their games to release it with a PlayStation 5.
You're
right.
I don't know, man. I think there are so many games that are so far along developing their games that it would be a disservice to them to a certain degree because they're going to lose sales. Like we all say, this is a business at the end of the day. And I think that between the two of them, between Xbox and Sony, they're talking to the publishers and like, hey, what do you have on the table? What do you want to release? What is close to release? And if you're not close to release, what do you want to see in the next system as far as specs go?
We'll see.
Because if you remember the Xbox One X, when that got announced, all the publishers. Remember the video that they were talking and they were going back and forth saying, this is the most powerful system. We're so happy to work on it, blah, 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 blah. Like, they went to the developers and gave them the specs of the hardware so that they could see what they could do with it.
Okay.
And I go back, man. Death Stranding is 100. There's no there. I still can't see how this game can be a PlayStation 4. Because if this game's a PlayStation 4, I really think that game's going to be a disaster. Based off of the videos that I've seen of gameplay, there's no way that this game's going to be a 4.
You know, we're talking about the Xbox One. There's no denying the system is more powerful than the PlayStation 4. Yeah. And it gives you true 4K. The only thing that PlayStation does to benefit is that they have a lot of exclusives.
Absolutely.
And if Xbox, I'm not saying they will because they just suck. I'm sorry for people who play Microsoft, but they suck. They can't come up with anything good. They just released a Forza, and I heard it's okay, but if for some weird reason in a Twilight Zone dimension, Xbox One came up with great exclusives, if you could give me 5 good exclusives in 2019, I see why not they could. I do not see why they could not beat the PlayStation 4 Pro. But it's impossible because they can't come up with any good exclusives.
I know. We talk about this all the time.
But they have the power. But I mean, somebody told me once that the Xbox One's power is like a monk having a 10-inch dick. And if you don't know what I mean, think about it for a second, and then you'll probably get it. All right, let's move on.
Can't use it.
Exactly. Well, do you have anything else?
No, man. Start talking about your game.
I mean, Jesus, there's so much in this game, but I want to make sure there wasn't any other news.
I'm looking. I'm not seeing anything. Nothing to the effect of like, oh my God, this is something that we have to talk about.
I think we talked about something, and I can't remember.
I don't know.
Anyway, all right, so let's talk about Assassin's Creed. I got this game on Friday. I refused to pay the $100 for this game just in case this game was just god awful. So $100 to me is not worth for paying for a game for the Assassins Creed Odyssey. Where do I start with this game? I mean, if there's no better word to say, it's enormous, massive. That's what she said. I mean, when I first, here's one thing that I did that kind of turned me off about Breath of the Wild was that when I grabbed Breath of the Wild, it was so overwhelming because there was just so much to do that it kind of turned me off in certain aspects because I don't want to go out there and be there playing forever. Plus, when I'm working full-time job, it's really hard to be able to do everything. And then I still played it through. I played like 85 hours in Breath of the Wild. And I enjoyed it, but I mean, it was a lot. And I was working, so it took me months to finish it. So then I get a game like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, Assassin's Creed Origins, which came out last year, was pretty big. It was a huge game. But I don't believe that it was anything bigger than... I mean, if you want to go map-wise, it was probably bigger than any of the other Assassin's Creeds. If you're talking about the size of the game, then I would say Assassin's Creed, the one in France, was bigger. I forgot. Unity. But Origin was big, but it felt big because it's an open world and you're traveling from all entire Egypt and you're going through deserts and you got all these kinds of things to do. And then Ubisoft decides, let's fuck with the players and let's just destroy their lives. Frank, when I tell you that this game has put, I don't know if you've been reading reviews, they put a lot of things from different games in here. And I think this is where the problem lies with this game, is that there's just too much to do.
Yes.
And that could be a turnoff. And I'm not talking about graphics or movements or anything. Just the fact that if you make a game way too big, which, believe it or not, is one of the reasons that I'm actually turned off of Red Dead Redemption. Because I just don't want to be worrying about, did I insult the wrong person? Did I do this and then somebody's a witness and somebody does that? That was one of the reasons that I was turned off with Red Dead Redemption 2. And then I jump in Assassin's Creed Odyssey and it's just the same thing. There's just so much to do. So let me tell you a couple of things that they put in there that makes this game ginormous. So now they added the ships. The ships are back. The ships were in Origins, and they added them again into this one. So they put a little bit of Black Flag in here. There is so much ocean in this game. So much ocean. And that's one of the things I didn't like about Black Flag, is that there's so much ocean, so much water. Another game was Wind Waker. Do you know that one, Wind Waker?
Yeah, I remember Wind Waker.
It's just when you're on a fucking boat and you're just traveling forever, you know? And there's just no way to speed up the process. This is one thing that I saw that I did not like. You can fast travel to a point, to the points in the different parts of Greece. What do you call them? The Eagle Points or whatever?
Oh, okay.
You know what?
Yeah.
And the boat stays in the same spot. So that to me was like already like a what? How did I travel here but my boat is in the ocean? You understand? So you would expect the boat to be on the dock at least.
Yeah.
I guess they did it because it would be easy to travel back on the spot that you were in the ocean, but that takes away from the game for me. It takes the realistic aspect of it. I understand fast travel is not real, so you don't have to sit there and tell me that's part of reality. But, you know, the boat shouldn't be in the ocean and I'm in an island or in a country. So they added that into that. So that's a little bit of Black Flag. They added the able to control the power of the nations, right? So if you have, the whole game is based about Sparta in a big, huge war with Athens. And yes. You're a mercenary. You're not a Spartan like everybody keeps saying. Your character is not a Spartan. Your character is a mercenary who gives absolutely no shit whose side to take. Whoever pays the most, that's where they're going. And as the mercenary, as the player, you decide. It's not like they tell you, oh, you should take Sparta's side. Oh, you should take Athens' side. As the player, you choose how you want to turn the war. So you could choose Athens, like I'm doing, and I'm just going into the Sparta like camps and just destroying their supplies and shit, and that turns the war in favor of the Athens. So now you're worrying about that, about the way the war is going. That's another thing that they've added in there, which is a huge thing. So the more you kill leaders, the more you kill their supplies, the more the war turns to your sides, the more you get like rewards. And then you have to actually do wars. So here's another thing they added, where you actually have a war, like battles that you go out in the field and fight. If you take things to one side of the war, then the battles get easier. But when you're in the battles, there's like over 100 bad guys, and you're going in there in a war and fighting. And you have to go around and you have to try to kill as many as you can, so the it's got like 2 levels of like the Sparta and Athens, and it shows you as the level gets shorter and shorter. That means that there's less fighters. That's more like Dynasty Warriors. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
That's another thing right there. Okay. Then you have the cultists, which is a lot like Oranges, or Oranges. Oh my God, Origins, where you now have to chase down the cultists, which are basically the bad guys, and they tell you nothing of where they are. You have to figure it out yourself. You have to travel the world. You have to talk to people. You have to find these camps. You have to find clues in order to find the cultists. So the cultist is not even part of the story. This is something that you want to do in order to get better equipment and better, I guess. I mean, guys, I might be wrong on some of these things. I haven't played that much. I've only played for like 30 hours, I think. But that's another thing you have to do. And that's just like, you have to travel the world and look around.
So let me get this right. You played this game for over 30 hours and you still don't even know what the hell you're doing.
Well, I mean, I know what the story's about, but that's the problem. It says there's so much to do that you forget that there's a story. And that's the problem that I have with the game, is that there's so much that you venture out to do one thing and then you do another thing. And before you know it, you're so deep into shit that you totally forgot that you have 2 main missions that you're supposed to do, because you just go further and further into Greece. And further and further and further. There is so much to do that for some people, they think that, I mean, you know who can play this game? Single people who don't have a life. Single people who don't have kids. But for the working man, I can't even say for students, because it's just so much to do that to me, that's a negative on my part. I understand that Ubisoft was trying to do something huge, but I feel that sometimes bigger is too much. And this time they went way too big. I mean, we're talking about 50% more than Origins. It is insane. I mean, when you go through a forest, you're really going through a forest. I mean, you keep going and going and going. It's insane. That was one of the reasons also that I didn't like, one of the things I didn't like about World of Warcraft. There's just so much. There's so much. You see what I'm talking about? I'm mentioning games that like World of Warcraft, like Witcher, like Breath of the Wild, and they just crammed. These are big games already, right? And they took all these games and put it into one. Are you crazy? You can't do that. You're gonna drive people crazy. To me, it's a very good game. It's I mean, in the aspect of how beautiful Greece is, I think the characters are great. They did a lot of you know how your character. They went on this. Here's another thing they took from Fallout 4, and they took it from Mass Effect Andromeda, that they give you 2 characters to pick from, whether it's a woman or a man. And when I first picked it, I thought, okay, you're picking the character because that's the gender you want to go with. But no, when you pick that character, your other character takes place of the story. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, for example, Fallout 4, if you pick the female, then your husband would get killed and they take the baby away from him. Or opposite, if you were the male, then they would kill your wife and they would take the baby. In Mass Effect Andromeda, there were twins. Whoever you picked was the player, and the other person would end up in a coma. But I'm not going to tell you what happens in Assassin's Creed, but your other character is there without me giving away anything else. I haven't gone deep enough into the story to tell you I mean, I've barely scratched the surface of this game, man. I played for 3 days straight. I still haven't gotten to the fact that I can't tell you. Remember we talked about how you didn't want Medusa in it? How you didn't want any of these other characters. I can't even tell you why these characters are there because I'm not even close to them. Right now, I've been in the whole story about how Sparta betrayed your character. Hence, one of the reasons that I'm fucking up Sparta. I'm messing them up. I don't give a shit. To tell you the truth, I go whoever gives me more money. But, and that's the other thing. You know how that aspect of where you can turn the war, it sucks because if you're in a country that is invaded by one country that's invaded by Sparta, you go in there, and if you go to the camps and you start fucking around in the camps, you're basically taking away from the power of that specific country. So the more you kill camps, the power goes weaker. But then let's assume that you want to go with Athens and not Sparta. But now if you go to a country where it's invaded by Athens, now you're restricted to not go to any of the camps, which is, why would I do that? If I'm in Assassin's Creed, that's one thing I like. I like to go to the camps and kill people and find the treasures, and now they bounding you to not go in there so you don't mess up their power too. Am I explaining myself?
Yes.
Did you see what I'm talking about? How much you have to worry about this game? It's just like, whoa, good Lord. For what the little missions that I've played with by the people that are around the towns, they've been fun. They've been interesting. I like the fact that you can pick what you're going to say now as opposed to any of the Assassin's Creed before. I like that you can be a total asshole, or you could be the nice guy, or you could be mutual. And then there's what's the word? I sorry. When you pick there's consequences of picking certain decisions that you decide to do in the game. There's one early in the game that George, I'm talking to you because George made the same decisions that I made. And there is consequences of making that decision later on in the game that could affect the way you play the game or the whole country. I like that. But those are things that you could have just left there without having to add so much. I also like that you barely see the future. Oh, thank God. They do still show you the future. Like, they still show you modern times, but it's like 1% of the game. And to me, they should have just gotten rid of it. We don't need that shit anymore. Nobody cares. Nobody cares of, what is it? Aspergos? What is it?
Abstergo.
Nobody cares, bro. That's just let's move on. Nobody gives two flying fucks about what's going on in the modern world anymore. People just want to go in there and be an assassin and be a warrior or whatever the fuck you want to do.
Here's my question. Have you even assassinated anybody, or should this game even have the name Assassin's Creed in it?
Yes, because you can, as you get equipment, your equipment can be chosen with it, whatever you want. If you want to use the equipment to be a warrior, then you can be a warrior. If you want to use the equipment,
I have yet to read any article where somebody's like, I chose to be an assassin.
I mean,
every single person thus far has just gone to being this warmongering killer, and
which is because it's different.
An assassin,
because it's different, Frank. That's why people pick it. People like that.
But that's not what an assassin is.
But it's not what an assassin is. You can go in there with assassin equipment. You can fully customize your character now, as opposed to before. As you can put now boots, you could put gloves, you could put the chest plates, and you could put the skirts, because that's what they were back then. And each one gives you a specific power that either gives you for warrior, for hunter, or for assassin. If you put all fully assassin and you put the percentage up on your assassin meter, then you will be a better assassin. You will be more silent. You will kill better. If you go in there with all warrior clothes and you hide behind a bush and then you try to assassinate somebody that's 3 levels up from you, you won't kill them. They'll grab you and they'll push you to the side. Like, let's say you stab them and they'll grab whatever you stab them with, and they'll pull it out of their body, and they'll fight you. Even though you could take a chunk of energy off of them, they're still fully capable of fighting you because you don't have the assassin power. You don't have that fully developed. Am I explaining myself right?
Once again, everything that I've read, this game is anything but an assassin game.
No, and
just like you said, that you going in and you're fighting in wars and you're taking on people like Destiny warriors. That does not sound like an assassin.
No, it shouldn't have had the assassin. It should have said, which I talked to you about this on the phone. It should have been a name, the title of the game.
The title of the game is horseshit because
they should have just called it something. Listen, hold on. Go ahead.
Wait. The title of this game is horseshit because we already established that Assassin's Creed Origins is where the assassins started.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It should have been. It should have been called something. This game?
That's what I'm trying to say. Years? 300?
It should have been something like Solo, a Star Wars story, or Rogue Story, right? Was that the name of it?
Assassin's Creed Rogue?
No. What was the name of the Star Wars movie? Rogue.
Oh, Rogue One.
A Star Wars story. You see what I'm saying? They could have just named it something differently and still be able to explain that it's part of the Assassin's Creed world. Prometheus, which is a great example, is part of the Alien timeline. But was there a title on it that said Aliens? No. But as soon as you watched the end, you knew that it connected it, right?
Uh-huh.
So then why couldn't they just do that? That way your character can just obviously be who he wants to be, and you don't have to have people saying, well, this has nothing to do with assassins, because there's barely anything to do with assassins. You still do the camp thing, but you don't have to go in there and assassinate. If you want to stealth, you can, but if you have great gear to be a warrior, you can go in there and fucking kill. And going back to the killing, the kills are awesome in this game. They're amazing. Like when she or he stabs you, it's got that awesome effect of just being stabbed and stuff. And when she stabs you in the head gets stuck into the sword or whatever, and she just presses down on you and then just pulls it out. I like that. I think that was cool. The fighting to me is a lot better than Origins. I didn't like Origins fighting much. I do not like, and which I will agree with you, I do not like that it has no shields. I mean, yes, you can counter, but let's be realistic. When everybody has shields, you should be able to pick up a fucking shield, right? It just makes sense. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
There's absolutely no point to not let your character have a shield. I don't understand. The very beginning of the game, you're playing Lego. Oh my god, what's his name? Leonidas. Leonidas. You take control of Leonidas in the 300 battle, right?
Yeah.
And everyone is fighting with a fucking shield except your character. How do you explain that?
Game's dog shit.
It doesn't make any sense. I was like, wait a minute. I understand you're mercenary not having a shield, but if you're playing a 300, the main thing about 300 is their shield. If you're playing a Spartan without a shield, how can that even be? When everybody in the war, it looks so bad to be in that battle, which was beautiful, and everybody has a fucking shield that said your character. How does that make any sense?
None of this game makes any sense, man. Like that's the thing about it. None of this game makes any sense to me. And like I hear you talking about it, and I'm not trying to put down the game, even though I am, but I'm not. Hearing you talk about it, if I just listen to this podcast, I would not want to buy this game.
No, and
just hearing you talk about it and just quite literally the amount of work that you have to do.
Oh, like, it's a lot of work.
That's what I feel like. I feel like it's a lot of work, and it doesn't sound like it's a lot of fun.
And I really hope that and I'm sorry to interrupt. I really hope the Red Dead doesn't go that route either. Because I don't want to do a lot of work. I don't want to do a lot of hunting. I don't want to be worrying every fucking 5 seconds about something.
And that's where I agree with you. Like I'm the more I hear you talk, the more I'm like cringing. The only benefit is that every single person that has played the game thus far, the idea of work is I'm in the middle of the mission. Oh, wait, my camp's low on food. I got to run back and take care of my camp. Like everything is very self-sustaining in Red Dead from what I've gathered. Yeah. And I think that's where the idea of balance comes into play.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, I give this game a solid 8. I can't go any higher than an 8 because it's fun. It's beautiful, and for the main story itself to me is interesting. But if you ever get to the story, because there's so much to do. I mean, I read it somewhere that it takes 55 hours just to finish the main story.
And I remember I caught a lot of shit. I caught a lot of shit when I was talking about this game because I found a guy on the internet who reviewed the game, and he gave the game an 8.5. And he was talking about how exhausting the game was, how long it is. It took 55 hours, and he was writing things, and he wasn't trying to talk badly about it, but he's like, it's just a lot to do. And I was getting shit because everybody's like, this is a bullshit article, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, based off what I'm hearing, and this is where we go way back, just because the game is bigger, that doesn't make it better. And when I saw what I saw of Odyssey was they just took Origins and made it bigger.
And that's where they went wrong. They took the great praise they got from Origins, and they said, let's make it bigger. But then
that's what they did with Arkham Knight and
instead of
Arkham
just making
City.
It bigger, though, they mixed in 5 different Assassin's Creed versions in there. And that's probably the problem. It's like people liked Assassin's Creed Origin because it was different from the other ones. And now you decided that you wanted to put in Black Flag. You wanted to put in a little bit of other games in there. And that's probably what is got people. It's an overwhelming game. It's very overwhelming.
I have a question for you. How many ships have you sunk with just using arrows?
None. Because when you use the arrows, you don't destroy the ship. You're killing its crew, and then you can like Black Flag. It's the exact same thing as Black Flag. Then you jump
because Black Flag you
cannons. Yes,
cannons.
Okay, but in this, it's the same thing as in you can jump in the ship and then kill whatever's left, and then take it, or you can ram them and sink them. But there's no cannons. It's all arrows.
I know there's no.
You don't sink the ship. You don't sink the ship unless you ram them, out of existence.
Well, that's a good thing.
But I mean, eventually you get fire arrows and shit like that, which I still haven't done. Or I think you get Greek fire and stuff like that, which then leads on. Now, another thing that there was a couple of things that I thought that I knew you thought it was crazy and it didn't make any fucking sense. One of them was how was it the other Assassin's Creed characters were in the game. It's not really. Think of it as just an add-on into the. It's not like part of the story or anything like that. It's just an add-on to your ship. So I got
so
Evie.
Stupid.
It is stupid, Frank, but they give you a fucking chicken head in Metal Gear Solid if you put it on easy, right? It's stupid either way.
Well, that's because you're stupid because you can't play Metal Gear. Like,
yeah, but it's stupid. It's just an add-on to. It's like I'm trying to find the right word. It's like
the term you're looking for is homage. They're paying homage to other games, but this is apparently the first, even though the Origins was already created. Tell me how somebody, I don't know, 1,500 years in the future is now one of your shipmates.
It's just, she don't talk to them. They're just there. It's just there. It's not like, you don't have to have them there.
It would have been cooler in the inverse.
Oh, the other thing is they did, there's more things now that you can put characters, you can capture characters and add them part of your team. So they went the Metal Gear thing, which is one of the things I didn't like about Metal Gear, which was having to go and pick up people and add them into your army. I thought that was, I mean, it's cool, but I don't want to have to be worrying about my fucking base. I just didn't want to. That to me was overwhelming by itself. And they added that to Assassin's Creed also. So now you have another add-on, you know, and God knows what else I haven't seen. Because I don't want to be capturing people and adding them to my ship. I don't give a shit. I barely am in my ship. It's just like, why did you put that in there? And what else? Oh my God. Oh, the historical part where you were talking about women are not part of it. When I started watching the story, I said, oh, look, perfect explanation why there is a female mercenary who goes around killing people. She was fully trained by her father, who was a Spartan, but she was never meant to be a soldier. And then she gets disconnected by Sparta, which I'm not going to get into the story. And then they explain why a female character is a badass who can handle herself. So I said, that's it. You know, there's nothing to bug about a woman who's able to take care of herself, and she's whatever. She's you know, she's been raised by these warriors, and then she ended up being a mercenary. But then you go to the Sparta camps, and this is where I thought about you. And when you go to the Sparta camps, you're supposed to kill leaders and stuff, right? Or, you know, the captains and stuff. And they're female captains. And that's where I said Frank is going to hate that, because this is... You had it right with the way you explained Cassandra's reasoning of being able to take care of herself. But I mean, come on. There's got to be a point where you have to say historically, and these times... women didn't go around killing people, but you definitely weren't captains and lieutenants, especially to the Spartan army. So I was like, okay, this is like, why did they put this in here? And it's just like when you are in a camp, and like I said, I'm not trying to be sexist, because whoever's listening to this, I'm not trying to be sexist. I don't want you to think that I'm judging it because they're women. It's just like, it's weird when you're about 200 to 300 years before Christ, when you know that in those times it was believed that women were inferior to men, which I do not believe that, but this is what they believed back then. And then you go and have 6 to 7 men in the camp, and the captain is a female. It's like, how is that even possible?
Dude, Total War, I don't know if you read about this, but Total War recently started doing that. And the people on Steam are just bashing the shit out of the game and hate rating it because it's not real.
And you know what? I don't understand why Ubisoft did that to appease, you know, the female counterpart, because one of the things that I admired about Ubisoft, which is a true story, when Black Flag came out, one of the things you had to do when you were in the ocean is that you had to hunt and kill whales, and you would harpoon the fuck out of these whales. You remember this?
No, I remember whaling.
Remember that? And PETA got involved. And PETA became a big problem for this game, because they were teaching people to go and kill whales. And Ubisoft had the perfect explanation. Whaling was part of the historical time. This is what pirates and sailors did in these times. By not putting whaling during those times would be wrong, because maybe it's wrong now, but it doesn't change the fact that it did happen. This is what people did, right?
Yeah.
So why are you going to take away something like that? You're not teaching people to go whale. You're teaching people what they did back then.
I agree.
So I respected them for that decision, and then they go and they do this, which, I mean, more power to you. That I understand you want to please the female counterpart, but come on. You already did that by putting the main character as a female, but you didn't have to. God, I feel like somebody's going to be listening to this and say that I'm sexist and stuff.
If anything, it would have justified it more by having her take down male lieutenants and them chastising a woman. That would have made more sense.
Yeah, it would have been cool. And then you do this, and I was like, oh no. Why did you do this? This doesn't make sense. And you know, I even said you could have made them the bottom of the rank, you know, the foot soldier. But when you put a female captain in Spartan times, and you have like 5 or 7 big, because you know when you go to a Spartan camp, you need to be careful because Spartans are crazy. If you get caught, if you're stealthing and you get caught, they'll be on you like white on rice, bro. It's like they're super deadly. Most of the time you have to run. Because Spartans are crazy. Oh, and they have this shout. Like if you're killing them, then they do this shout. And they get enraged. And they get even tougher to kill. You know? So you got all this testosterone. And you have a female captain. It's like...
Hey man, I'm not buying it.
No, don't buy it. It's not for you. And I'm still going to play it because I'm having fun, but there's just no way I can... There's just no way that I can invest in a week or whatever. I can't. I mean, I can't invest on this. I can't invest on Red Dead Redemption. I can't invest on what other huge fucking game is going to come out. It's just too much.
Yeah, no, I already said that. And between those two, and then you have Fallout coming out.
No, exactly, man. If you are a family guy, like our friend George, or if you have a full-time job that is not, I'm not talking about working retail, a full-time job like a lawyer or an accountant, this game is too much. You won't get to... Frank, it took me 4 hours, and it's not that I suck. It's 4 hours it took me of gameplay before I actually got the title intro of the game. That's how much you have to do in the game before you get the title intro.
But that was also... You want to know what the funny thing is that was also the same thing in Assassin's Creed 3, and so many people bitched about that. Because I remember that in Assassin's Creed 3 playing is... Like, I don't know what they think they're doing over there.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, maybe I'll play for another week. I'll figure it out. Anyway, you got anything else?
Not really. Just count down the countdown. We are down to, 19 days?
19 days. We'll see how that comes out.
I'll be there day one. Well, no, technically 18 because GameStop does their midnight release at 9, so I'll be there. That's really it. I got nothing else really. The only other thing is they keep showing the trailer for the Halloween movie, and I'm kind of excited for that. I do enjoy a good classic horror film, and they're making Michael Myers look really scary. Yeah. So I'm going to check that one out. The missus wants to see that.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be awesome all the way up to the very end because the sister, the woman that's
Jamie Lee Curtis,
she's like built this mini arsenal to try to kill him. I think that aspect of the film is going to be really stupid, but everything else about it looks decent. So,
all right. So we're good?
I think we're good.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate it. If you want to get a hold of us, you can email us at evilmetalgamers@gmail.com. You can check us out at Evil Metal Gamers in Twitter or in Discord or Facebook, Instagram. We are almost everywhere. Just put Evil Metal Gamers. We also have a website where you can hear all the podcasts and stuff. Thank you so much. I appreciate it for listening, and take care, guys.
Love, peace, and happiness.